Market research is often the forgotten child in a small business. Everything else gets allocated funds, but nothing for market research, even though it can dramatically increase your business's success. I'm Kalila Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves, JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. We have with us this week CEO of Bluedot Data Intelligence, Larren Peart. Hi, Larren. How are you?
Hi, Khalil. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I heard you're joining us all the way from New York today.
Yes, we're actually here working on a project here for one of our clients.
Wonderful. So, when I think market research these days, Bluedot is definitely one of the big names that comes up. So, you guys have built up quite the reputation for yourself, especially with your, what do you call it again? The mental thing?
Neuroscience.
Neuroscience.
Yeah,
Yes,
man,
especially
neuroscience.
with your neuroscience
Yeah,
ability.
man.
So before we get into all that complicated stuff, though, for those of us who just have our little business and we want to do some little market research, first of all, just break it down. What is market research and why is it important?
So simply put, market research is the science or the methodology that allows anyone to or businesses use to understand who their customers are, what their customers want, and how to market or target to them, which is why it's very important, in short.
All right, so very simple definition of market research. Why should I do it? A lot of businesses go out there just assuming what customers probably want or if they are giving their customers the right thing. Why is it
Yeah.
important to conduct market research?
That's a good question, and that's actually a huge problem that we have here in the Caribbean. We're accustomed to making gut-based decisions or decisions that aren't based on data or data-driven, which it can work, but it's not the best way to go about making very important decisions, especially that you're going to be putting money behind. Um, so on average, over 30% of businesses who do market research um, see significant increases in revenues, right? So that's number one. Two, it's very important to understand, like I said earlier, who your customers are and how to market to them. If not, if you're just building products based on anecdotal information, it's like fishing in a pond with dynamite. So you need to be able to understand the profile of your consumers, what makes them tick, what to understand their consumer behavior, their purchasing behavior, and how to target your products to our services towards them.
Yeah, so that's so true. A lot of people, a lot of businesses never do any type of research. It's probably the most underfunded section of business.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of like you might ask in a WhatsApp group with all of your friends or your family members, what do you think about this? And there's a lot of bias that comes into that, because you're asking people who like you. So it's very important to get information from a wider cross section or a wider sample of the community that are representative of your potential customers and not just your family and friends.
So, what are the top benefits of doing market research?
Good question. So primarily, you need to understand your markets, what the market opportunity is, right? So a lot of businesses, start up or they start to provide services or products without even knowing if there is a need for the product or service. So definitely important to understand what the potential is so that you can, accurately gauge the investment and even understand if there's going to be ROI for you in the space. Um, Secondly, again, after you figure that out, you need to understand who your customers are, what makes them tick, and to actually build an accurate profile of them so that you can better target them. So, as an example, a show like this, your target consumers for advertising would be those primarily in the financial space or those who are interested in the financial space. But there might be some other avenues or other profiles of consumers who a show like this would be able to target. So doing some sort of market research will help you to identify what those segments are, and then arm you with that data to then sell to the advertisers or the potential advertisers. Um, thirdly, I'd say just general understanding of the space that you're in, and how to build the products around our services, around what the demand for those services are. Again, we tend to just think we spot a need, or think we find there's a problem, looking for a solution, without accurately getting that data to make those data driven decisions, in order to build better products and services for your customers.
All right, so I might be watching this. I'm a small business owner, maybe even a micro business, and I'm thinking, yeah, all this sounds great. It's important. I do know it's important, but I don't have the money to hire a Bluedot or to hire a Don Anderson. How can
Hmm.
what are some cost-effective ways? And I'm not saying that you're unattainable, Lauren. I'm sure you have some flexible
For
rates.
sure.
What are some cost-effective ways for me to conduct my own market research?
Good question again. So, I always say that social media is your largest focus group. So, uh, you know, measuring your engagement on social media, actually reading what people are commenting, what they're saying, is extremely important. You can gain so much information asking, um, by just listening to what your customers are saying through social media. We're in in 2021, this world that we live in. Our customers are definitely not shy to to let us know how they feel. Um, in the offline space, or in a brick and mortar situation, you can do market research by just observing consumers. So we do a lot of ethnographic type studies, where we will walk into a supermarket and we will literally watch where people go and where they stop, and etc. So if you have your store, a retail store, just observe as your customers walk through the store, what items they stop at. Do they turn right when they come in first, or do they turn left? What aisles do they walk past? What items do they walk past? And then you can mix and match and do some A and B testing. So if you notice that they're turning right first, then you might want to put your higher margin higher margin products in that direction. It's actually called path to purchase, or customer journey throughout a store. So those are just some two quick things that I could think of that anyone can do. And also there's a lot of free survey tools actually. So Google Forms is one. You can just post your questions or upload your questions and send the link out on your social media pages, or just to your customers if you're building an email list. And just constantly ask them, how is my service? Is there anything I can do to improve, the products or services? Is there anything that I'm not offering that you'd like me to provide? Just simple things like that. And in addition, of course, you can call Bluedot for any of the other market research needs.
Absolutely. So, on the next episode, you're going to take us through in more detail how to conduct our own market research. So, we're going to be looking at surveys and perhaps some other strategies as well. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
And here's a recap of Lauren's main points. Over 30% of businesses that do market research see significant increase in revenue. Understand who your customers are and what makes them tick. And get information from a wide cross-section of your community, not just family and friends. So how much of your budget are you now going to allocate to market research? Comment below. That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Visit their website at eximbankja.com and visit my website, KalilaReynolds.com, for a summary of this episode. You can click the link in the description box below. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Until next time.